Welcome back, everybody. Derek here, bringing you the third part of my Blind Dead series. If you see my previous two videos in this series, you know I'm covering the Blind Dead films, which I always wanted to check out, and I'm on to the third one now. So, let's get into this review, guys. What I got for you today is from 1975, and it's the Ghost Galleon, also known as Horror of the Zombies, which is mostly known from its public domain title. Main plot of this one, it starts out in like this, what I believe it's a modeling agency, and two of the models are on a boat. I think they were scouting locations. I'm not really sure. They didn't really get into that part of the plot. And their boat stops. It's stuck. The motor stopped. So they call for help. While they're waiting, they notice that the ship appears out of this fog. It's like an old galleon. It's very old. So they tell the guy who runs the agency about the ship, and they say not to board it. But they do, and then shit happens, and then while this is going on, the businessman and his business, I think it's the photographer, and the businessman's assistant, they all plan on trying to find out where the girls are, so they hire this professor that knows that area to, first he denies, but then if he wants to be going on this galleon to explore it because he heard stories about it. Basically, they go there, and the galleon's actually has on board of it tomb coffins, and in the coffins are the Templar Knights. So basically they have to try to find out how to get off the ship and back, because there's a little like weird thing about it's in another dimension, or the fog is actually blocking it from being seen from other ships and stuff. So that's basically the plot of the film. Now my thoughts on it. It's kind of a subtle story. It's less story than the other two films that came before. The one thing I had a problem with this film is the characters. The characters have their own ambitious goals throughout. The only characters that I actually cared about was the professor and the two models that were on the speedboat. They were kind of the only characters I enjoyed. But most of the characters did have their own ambitious goals. The businessman was just a total... He actually kidnaps one of the model's friends and holds her hostage while this is going on, because he had something to do with them being out there, and he didn't want her to go to the police. And then there's this other scene while they're traveling to the galleon, where he's talking to the photographer, and they're trying to figure out a way, maybe if they're the only ones that come back and nothing will happen to them. Very, and the professor and the two models on the boat were my only two characters, and those two models aren't really in the film. That's not a spoiler, because you know how these films are so far if you've heard my reviews on them, or seen them for that matter. It's kind of slow at the beginning, because you don't really get into the Templar Knights until they're on the galleon. So it's a lot of talking and conspirizing with each other about what's going to happen and all that. The businessman did, for the most part, like, he's not my favorite character, but he kind of lightened up at the end of the film. So did the photographer. The secretary actually The assistant, actually, he's just a total asshole. Yeah, I didn't really care for the characters of this film, to be honest, guy. It's my only problem with the film. And the slow moving structure of it, it's very slow moving, more slow moving than the other previous two entries into the series. If it had a little more of the Templar Knights in it, like near the beginning, I would have probably enjoyed it more. That being said, when the Templar Knights and all the nighttime shots are all the same atmospheric, the score's still the same score. Awesome score, atmosphere. The fog and stuff was really groovy and cool. I enjoyed that part of the film. But overall, if I had to rate it, it's watchable. Don't get me wrong. Probably give it a solid 6 out of 10. It's my least favorite out of the 3 films so far. Out of the saga, I hadn't watched the 4th one yet. That'll be coming up soon. So that's all I have to say about this film. It's decent. It's not good, but it's not bad at the same time. It has all the same atmospheric effects as the first 2 films did. But it's just a little low budget, and I did like the setting on the boat, though. I'll give them that. The boat looked awesome when you see it coming through the fog, when the first shot of it. That made it a decent watch for me. I enjoyed like the scenery and all that good stuff. So 6 out of 10, that's all I have to say about it. Check it out. Alright, that's my review of the Ghost Galleon. Kind of a lower in standard from the previous 2 films. And it's kind of weird because on IMDb, that film actually has a higher rating than Return of the Evil Dead does, which I liked more, but that's because it kind of had a similar story to the first one, so I guess a lot of people didn't care about it. But I liked it. I like the Ghost Galleon too, but for different reasons. I just stated that. But I'll be back tomorrow, guys, with the last part of the series, Night of the Seagulls. I'll see you then. Like, subscribe, and comment if you like this review. I hope to see you in the future. Peace out.